Yes, I know the title might raise a lot of questions, but that is what I am here to explain today, so please hear me out first. I'm sure what I'm about to say will start some totally needed conversations about the future of Blue Lock Rivals. Now, I'm sure you are all aware of the recent state of Blue Lock Rivals and how the game is seemingly going down a negative path. A path that started after Chrollo, the creator of Blue Lock Rivals, left one of the other developers known as Miro as the new owner of the game moving forward so that Chrollo could work on his other projects as he felt like he received the experience he wanted from Blue Lock Rivals. As soon as Miro started working on the game, however, it was noticeable that the community was not happy with Chrollo leaving the team and had lost a good amount of trust in the game. This was made even more clear as Miro would often get called out for not having the same animation quality as Chrollo did after the release of King's reworked moveset. This trend would continue with nearly each update Miro would make for Blue Lock Rivals, with more and more people asking for Chrollo to return and calling Miro out for not being as good as him, as well as making statements such as, "Miro ruined the game." Things eventually reached a breaking point with the most recent update, which introduced the Loki style to the game alongside a new rarity with extremely low rates. This issue was only made worse by the developers seemingly giving out less spins than usual for what is possibly their biggest update yet. This led to a lot of the dev team being attacked for the quality of the update. They eventually came forward with an announcement about how someone else will be in charge of community relations, as well as doing multiple positive changes for the update. This led to a lot of people thinking that Miro might have stepped down and that Chrollo could potentially return to quote-unquote save Blue Lock Rivals. However, I don't think bringing Chrollo back or replacing Miro is what will save the game. I believe that no developer is perfect. If we look back to when Chrollo was in charge, he and the development team had a long time working on the quality of their updates and animations, as a lot of the old animations for Blue Lock Rivals were even worse than what we saw with the likes of King's rework. Similarly, Chrollo also pushed out quite a few incomplete updates before leaving the game, especially those leading up to Kaiser's eventual release, which was the most awaited style for the game. If you look back to when Sei was given his rework and turned into a world-class style, he was missing an awakening skill called Divine Destruction that was teased in his rework trailer, only for him to end up never getting the move as it wasn't completed and seemingly just forgotten. Similarly, Nell Isagi, as I'm sure you all know, was extremely overpowered, which made a lot of people unhappy given how underwhelming Don Lorenzo as a world-class style was, whereas Isagi continued to dominate lobbies. Isagi was also missing several VFX and voice lines for his awakening at the time of his release, with the most apparent one being Isagi's two-gun volley shot that was mostly incomplete. It was becoming more and more apparent that the developers focused on releasing new styles or reworks as soon as they could, rather than spending time finalizing their work. Naturally, this made players unhappy, similar to certain updates that released under Miro's lead, who was given even less trust as soon as he began working on the game. Now, you may be wondering what I'm trying to say here. If neither Chrollo nor Miro can save the game, then who possibly could? And to that, my answer is the community itself. You see, both Chrollo's and Miro's development team have tried listening to community feedback as much as possible, with Miro's team pushing out surveys for players to fill and elaborate on what they liked and didn't like about the updates. Unfortunately for the developers, most players would end up spamming and attacking the developers as soon as they were unhappy with an update. This would apply to Miro even more, as the community seemingly never trusted him, with people asking for Chrollo to return as soon as he started working on the game, without offering Miro the same leeway given to Chrollo for the many incomplete and overpowered styles he had released. Now you might be thinking of the most recent update with the horrible rates for the new rarity introduced to the game, and the lack of codes given out by the developers. And yes, although the update had some major problems, it also managed to improve on certain aspects of the game people complained about previously. Prior to Loki's release, The community was unhappy with the unbalanced state of the game as a result of updates from both Chrollo and Miro's dev teams. The developers understood and tackled this problem after the release of NEL Rin by pushing out the biggest balance patch ever released in Blue Lock Rivals, which adjusted nearly every style in the game. This put the game in one of its most balanced states yet, with the developers paying more attention to the balancing aspect of future updates. This was made evident as Aiku's rework was relatively balanced outside one of his abilities, which was nerfed the same day. And for Loki, although his rates are horrible, the style itself is actually rather balanced and not game-breaking like Nel Isagi or Nel Rin were at the time. Now less talking about the past and more about the future. The lack of communication was one of Miro's primary weaknesses, and now with someone else being in charge of community relations moving forward, I believe things might start getting better. Developers have already put out several polls regarding what others want to see in the future of the game. Based on the results of said polls, it seems like we will be getting updates more focused towards updating already existing styles such as Nagi and King, who despite receiving a rework, was disliked due to his animation quality, so we might be seeing improvements for that. I think we need to be more specific with our concerns when it comes to the future of Blue Lock Rivals, as well as try giving proper feedback that would benefit the game, rather than simply asking for the developers to be replaced by Chrollo or someone else. While Chrollo could always return like people are hoping, it's clear that Chrollo simply returning to the game will not fix all the issues at hand, given how the game wasn't in a great state due to the many incomplete and underwhelming updates prior to Chrollo leaving. What will actually benefit Blue Lock Rivals is better communication both from the developers and their community. This is also why I wanted to make this video, as I've noticed a lot of talk online about replacing Miro, how Blue Lock Rivals is falling off, and how we need Chrollo back to fix the game. I feel like Miro has been treated quite harshly ever since he took over the game, despite him and his team trying their best to keep their community happy by pushing out more bug fix and balance patches, but they never really received the same positivity from their community. With that being said, let me know what you all think in the comments. Do you think the devs have been treated too harshly? Are you excited for a potential Nagi rework? What do you expect from Blue Lock Rivals moving forward? Also, let me know if you would like more discussion-based videos like this in the future. I think they are good in order to spark some much-needed discussions and could be more engaging. Lastly, if you think this video was worth your time, I would truly appreciate you liking and subscribing if you haven't already, as we're so close to 2,000 subs. But as always, I wish you the best of luck in your roles, and take care.